My family excluded me and my wife from the family trip, so we went on a vacation of our own.
Oh, little toe-to-toe. Who's gonna have the better vacation?
Background. My family has always been well off. And by that, I mean we would take family vacations 2 or 3 times per year. It's still like that now, but I've noticed a difference in how my family acts now that my, female 27, wife, female 24, and I are married. By the way, this comes from user A Water Please, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, about 3 weeks ago, my dad booked a trip to Italy. Everyone was excited, and the family group chat was lit up for days following the announcement. I called my dad and talked to him for a while, and eventually I thanked him for including my wife, who'd always felt left out. There was a slight pause, and he told me that he booked the rest of the available seats on that particular flight, and there was only enough for him, my mother, grandparents, my sister, and her husband, and me.
So they're trying to exclude OP's partner.
Trying to exclude your wife, because she's your wife.
And that's when
and
you
you're
say,
her wife, and they don't like that.
And they don't like wives.
They don't like you being both wives.
They don't like wife squared.
Why do you not like my wives?
Because they're squares.
They're squares.
They're squares. So he booked the flights without even taking my wife into consideration. Now, I know what a lot of people would think, that it was just a mistake. But I don't think so, given the fact that my wife has been excluded in other ways before. And if it were a mistake, he'd do everything he could to change it before even announcing the vacation. My heart sunk. I looked at my wife, who could tell something was off, and I told my dad to just give my seat to someone else because if she wasn't included, I wasn't going.
Yeah.
Boom, thank you.
Good.
For God's sakes.
See?
We need more partners like that.
Well, no, we always read stories where they're like, well, they told me you couldn't come, so I guess that's it. No, stand on business. If you're going to marry and or be in a long-term relationship with someone, defend them.
Stand on your business. Make your partner your business. Yeah. Make your partner your business.
Do it.
Stand on your partner. Stand on business.
Stand on your partner and start a business.
There we go.
In the past, I was able to include my wife myself, but I was tired of us being singled out. They never did that to my sister and her husband. They've always included them as a couple. But when it comes to my wife and I, we've always had to figure out our own way into the mix as if we weren't to be taken seriously. I'm not doing that now, and I drew a hard line in the sand this time. This man had the audacity to say that her and I could book our own flight and just, meet them there.
Or maybe we could go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Book a flight that goes in the opposite direction to where you are.
Yes. Let us know exactly where you're at so we can be on the opposite side of the earth.
I don't even want to be near you.
I just told them absolutely not and then hung up. Needless to say, my wife was in tears. She was upset, but she was glad that I was sticking by her. A couple of days went by and we decided to go on our own vacation to a much humbler location, a large rental cabin with her family, who are all downright amazing. Well,
lovely.
Yeah, I'm happy about that.
Me too.
I'm happy about going to the cabin. A little cabin in the woods.
Cabin action with the in-laws.
Yeah,
who you like and who are better than your family. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Anyway, well, my family found out, and they have not stopped blowing up my phone. Why do they care all of a sudden?
Because they're jealous of the cabin. They know it's going to be cooler.
They're jealous
cool
of the
cabin in the
cabin
woods.
itself.
Yeah, they're jealous
I
of the
want to
cabin.
be a cabin.
I want to be a cabin.
My mom called me one night during all this and said that I was being unreasonable and that there's no way I couldn't just book a separate flight and instead book an entirely different vacation with her family. I explained to her that that wasn't the point, that the point was that they have excluded my wife from every family-related event ever since we got married, which always put me in the position to fix it. My mom basically called me crazy and that I was overthinking a simple mistake on my dad's part. For some reason, I'm starting to think that maybe I'm overthinking it and that I should just talk with my dad to see if excluding my wife was intentional, which was another point my mom brought up. Am I the a-hole? And there's an edit here. I guess it's not a bad idea, but your gut's already telling you. I mean, you already know that they're excluding you because you are not a heteronormative relationship, clearly.
And also, if it was just a mistake, then he could have fixed it, Like if it was a mistake, he would have said, hey, we got tickets for everyone. And then you would have said, oh, not my wife. And then he would have said, oh my God.
Right.
I need to get tickets right now.
There's an edit here. Thank you so much for the overwhelming support. We went to bed and then woke up to almost 200 notifications. That's crazy. My wife and I sat down a couple of hours ago and had a discussion about what our next steps should be. We've both agreed that we were going to have a family meeting with my family this Monday and confront them head on.
Do it.
We feel that this is the best way to handle the situation, and we honestly just need answers directly from them. As for the comments, a lot of you brought up gaslighting. gaslighting and how it causes rifts in families. So we're going to learn a little bit more about it to protect ourselves. I made a vow to my wife when we got married that I'd put her first and make her my priority, and I'm sticking to it. Again, thank you so much for all your support, and hopefully I can make an update post to fill you guys in on everything. Greatest wishes. There's a comment here. Let's comment. Comment number 1. You're in the queer community. You know this is intentional. But let's just say this one time your father made an honest mistake, and that wasn't his intention. Based on your family's history on excluding your wife, you have every right to assume. Call them out, and if need be, go low contact. I know it's hurtful, but your presence in the family is an ultimate bargaining chip. If they are still crappy, then you can put them on probation until they improve, and there's an update.
Woo.
Let's just go ahead and
Dive right in.
And swim right through
I
it.
think that's a good idea.
First off, thank you all for the positivity. It's been amazing seeing so much support. We didn't post an update yesterday since it was Valentine's Day, so we're posting it today. We had a family meeting at our house on Monday, and it was interesting. I started with reminding my dad what he did, how it matched up to all the other times, how it made her and I feel, and how his and my mom's reactions made us feel. I told him that my wife is my everything, and what we do together. Our marriage is just as valid. You either want us in your life or you don't, and lately your actions have told us the latter. Then I brought up gaslighting. We did some digging the previous night, watching videos and read articles to better understand it. I explained to them what it was, how they did it, and how it made us feel. My conclusion was my reasoning for planning this separate vacation with my wife's family. My sister started crying. She apologized for not saying anything and not paying attention. Her husband was upset as well. My sister said, "You have to book a different flight, Dad." To which I pointed out that it was too late. Our vacation was already booked, and we couldn't bail on it. My sister said, "Well, then we're not going to Italy then. You two, Mom and Dad, can go, but we're not. I feel horrible now." Cue an argument between my parents and my sister.
I feel like this sister's kind of making it about herself.
Sister's like, "I feel bad.
This makes me feel bad because you're not going.
Hot dog."
Oh, it's like, no, be like, you know what? Hey, I'll support you. I'm not going to go either. This is not fair to you.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I feel so bad. It makes me sad. Shut up.
I'm going to go to Italy without you. I'm sad. And it's like, no, be sad that our parents are bigoting my wife, dude. What are we doing?
Bigoting her.
My wife and I sat there with our mouths hung open until my sister and her husband got up and left. My suspicions were right. The reason why my wife and I were being treated unfairly was because of inheritance fears.
What? They didn't want to give you an inheritance? Because what?
What?
That doesn't make any sense.
Is it because of your wife?
I'm so confused. Like, is the point that they're being or that they're...
I think it's yes. I think it's both.
Being and also they're like, oh, you're not gonna have any kids. And also that's just an assumption too.
I've got the next sentence.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Their explanation was that they didn't want inheritance, quote, getting into the wrong hands. So they wanted to dote on my sister and her husband to ensure that it won't. Their actual words. Now, that's right. They confirmed everything because they basically said, yes, we treat your sister and her husband better, and we're driving it home with the inheritance. It sounds like they don't want their inheritance going to people who are not heteronormative.
Wow, and that's I think it's time to maybe like go very, very low to no contact with these people.
I would just like give them
Goodbye.
one fart and say goodbye forever. I hope that's what I think of you. Peace out. It ended with my parents leaving angry, not at their actions, but the fact that they were getting called out. From this point on, we will be going low contact with my parents and maybe try to amend things between my sister and her husband. We will not attend gatherings or events if one or both of us feel excluded. We will demand that we be treated just as seriously. We now know our boundaries and we will set them. And by the way, you can set your earbuds into your ears and then listen to full episodes with stories like this. All you have to do is go to iHeartRadio or Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts and search OK Storytime. And that's all you got to do.
Easy peasy. But there's a little bit left of this story. I think
final thoughts, Sophia?
You gotta cut them off. They freaking stink. They're stinky, and they don't care about you or your partner.
It was a very heartbreaking experience, and we were disgusted at the whole thing, and we still are. Right now, we just have to take this time to move forward. I doubt we'll be able to make any more updates beyond this, but again, we wanted to thank you all for the advice, love, and support. We truly appreciate it. This was a throwaway, but I think I'm gonna keep this account up, but just not save the login info. What a quirky guy. Thank you so much, and best wishes. We got some comments. Until the inheritance comes up, I doubt they'll split it equally, if not bequeathed. I've seen the worst of people surrounding inheritances, tossing family under the bus. Reply, OP says she doesn't need it anyway, while her sister does, so it wouldn't be the end of the world if it was uneven split, but it'd better at least acknowledge OP properly. I mean, like, no, because if my parents, like, don't like me or my wife just being the way that we are, then I'm gonna be like, I don't want your stinky
I wouldn't want
turd money.
any of it. I mean, if
I don't want your money.
you're comfortable enough to like not need it, then I would not want to be indebted to them at all.